good fragrance, but that's just all it does. Why? Ah, damn it. I think I'm just being too demanding of the fragrance. Maybe I should cut it some slack. Welcome back to the channel AYOSFRAGRANCE. I'm Ayomide. Here we talk all things fragrance and perfumery, and we release a new video every Saturday. So before we start, click that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. This week, I'm going to be talking about a fragrance that has left me, I would say, confused on how to describe it. It's a good fragrance, but for me, it leaves a lot to be desired. What do I mean? You find out in the video. This week, I will be reviewing Oud Satin by Ministry of Oud from Paris Corner. We start with the bottle design. The bottle is very heavy. I like the bottle, if I'm being honest. It has this gap at the bottom that gives it this weight, and then it's just boxed like a square bottle. And it has this plastic / metal thing that has the logo and everything. And then for the cap, it's a bit loose. The cap is a bit loose, but it's not terrible. At the top of the cap, you also have Ministry of Oud. The cap is golden. One thing I don't really like is that on top of the atomizer, they wrote Paris Corner just like boldly there. Like, could have put it somewhere else, not at the top. It feels less quality, but the bottle itself this is a weapon. The edges are sharp and it's heavy. And then for the case is nothing special. It has the authenticity badge. It has what you have to scan, and then it is gold, blue, and black, and all three of them are textured. The black has box texture, the gold has their logo and has a different feel, and then the blue has the Ministry of Oud on top of it. Why did I buy this fragrance? 2 videos ago, I made mention of me being an opportunistic buyer for a lot of things. By the way, if you haven't watched that video, I was reacting to my first ever YouTube video. It's right here, so click it and enjoy the video as well. But after watching this one, obviously. So I bought this because a friend of mine was getting called to bar, and he asked me for perfumes as gifts. And I said, okay, since I'll be getting perfumes for him, let me get for myself to serve 2 purposes: to wear as a new fragrance to the event, and then to, what was the second purpose? To wear as a new fragrance and then to have another fragrance. Since, okay, I'm getting for him, let me get for myself as well. That is how I came to possession of Oud Satin. And like I said in one of my previous videos, the way I review perfumes is I make sure I use them for at least a week, so I know their ins and outs. I know basically everything it is to know about the perfume on my body. So I used this for about 2 weeks. I haven't used any other thing, so I believe I'm well informed in talking about this perfume. On Fragrantica, the notes are Bulgarian rose and agarwood as the top notes, Turkish rose and benzoin as the middle notes, and then the base notes have violet and vanilla. Already from the notes, you can tell that it doesn't really give you much other than roses and oud. The price of this is 30 to 35,000 naira, or 25 to $30. And after my time using it, I would say it is worth the price, especially if you are a compliment hunter. Now for my thoughts, like I said, I make sure I use it for at least a week, and then I write down all my thoughts on whatever fragrance I plan on reviewing. It has a prominent rose in the start, and then it, pardon my French, it dead ass soaks up a room, in my words. It's powdery, it leaves oud in the room. What I mean is, if you spray it, you leave a room and then you come back, that room that you sprayed it in would still have traces of this particular fragrance, which more often than not translates to it having a good scent trail. It gives a good presence even after you've gone. Even in the elevator, I have noticed that when I leave and then I enter back after a few minutes, I still get a whiff of this fragrance, which is a very good thing. It is also the type of fragrance that too much of it can be toxic. Like, too much of it can start to give you a headache, if you're not careful. I sprayed this on my baby brother so I could test the sealage and the longevity on another person's skin. And on his skin, I sprayed it at about 7:25 in the morning, and up until 1:25, 1:30, I was still smelling it on him, which is 5 to 6 hours. And then on my skin as well, it is very similar, 5 to 6 hours. Sometimes it pushes a bit past 6 hours if I'm not very active that day, like if I'm sitting in the office for most of the day. But if I'm more active, it comes down a bit to like 5 to 6 as opposed to 6 to 6 hours 30 minutes. And then on clothes, this thing is a monster on clothes. I sprayed it on a piece of clothing, and then I kept it on my clothes chair. If you're a guy, you would understand clothes that are not dirty but are not clean. So I kept it on my clothes chair, and then I kept another piece of clothing on top of it. I kid you not, when I picked the other piece of clothing up, I was like, why am I getting whiffs of Oud Satin? And I smelled the other piece of clothing, and I literally was perceiving Oud Satin. So it jumped from the initial piece of clothing I sprayed after wearing it for a full day onto the other piece of clothing, which I find very, very good. So on your clothes, it lasts about 10 to 12 hours, even more sometimes if the clothes are covered or something like that. We're halfway through the video, and I just want to say please subscribe and please like if you're enjoying the video so far. Back to the video. There's vanilla in there, and there is an earthy pang in the opening that feels like patchouli. This is where I begin to lose the fragrance. What do I mean? In my notes I said it does not have a lot of personality, this fragrance. It just has two things, rose and oud. And believe me, it does that well. It does that amazingly. It's well blended. But it left me wanting more. I don't know if I'm making sense. The rose and the oud, they blend well, they project well, they perform well, but it left me wanting more. That okay, is it just these two things that are the major things I'll be picking up? So it does not have a lot of personality in that aspect. The rose is dirty. Remember, it has Bulgarian and Turkish rose. So those types of roses are not as powdery as your regular rose. I smelled something that I smelled in the opening of Everard by Esteban. I have reviewed that fragrance, so you can go watch it. And that is patchouli. Remember I said the rose is dirty. It has this earthy feeling, like it is dirt and rose, like a flower that was mixed in dirt, like wet dirt, wet sand, and still retains its flowery properties, but you can obviously tell that this flower is not an ajebota, it's an ajepako. Just trying to find ways to correlate it. It can work for a daily wear. Yeah, it can work for a daily wear. It can work for casual Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But I feel like it would shine in a date setting, in an evening, cool evening date setting. I wouldn't know because I haven't gone on a date in God knows how long. But this should shine in that kind of setting. It's a good fragrance. Now, why I am torn is because, like I said, I was expecting more. So because of that, I already reduced my love for it in my head. But in one day, I got about 5 different compliments on this fragrance in one day from 3 different age groups. 2 people from my age group, my mom, someone older than my mom, and then someone I think in my mom's age group. I don't know how old the person will be. 3 different age groups complimented this fragrance. It's amazing. It's really good. But then again, I made a tweet recently that if I don't personally enjoy fragrance as much, compliments wouldn't do a lot for me. If I enjoy the fragrance and I get compliments, oh my, I will be ecstatic. If someone comes in for a hug or a close proximity to you, they will get a whiff of this and they would love it. And like I said earlier, it gives a good scent trail. Those are my thoughts on this fragrance. Now for the on-screen test, to see if I will notice anything different about this fragrance. 1, 2, 3. Remember, always let it settle before you sniff. It's cozy. It's cozy and it is warm spicy. Warm spicy basically means it's tickles your brain, but in like a comfy way. I had a comment recently on TikTok, or was it a video, where someone was talking about, oh, frag heads and fragrance reviewers were like, oh, this fragrance is spicy, it is warm, it is oceany, and they'll be like, have you smelled it before? So I'm going to try to explain whatever I say. When I say warm spicy, it's like it hits your brain, like it tickles something in your brain or it scratches something in your brain, but then it is warm, like it's comfy. Like patchouli is a really good ingredient in fragrances. If you remember in Everard by Estevan, I said it's something that you can just like cozy up. It's really good. It's really good. Now, patchouli was not mentioned in the notes on Fragrantica, but you can't tell me there's no patchouli in this. And like I said, after the initial excitement for me, and I perceive the rose and the wood and the patchouli, I begin to lose interest because it doesn't really give me much to work with. Agarwood and Turkish rose on the start, Bulgarian rose in the middle, and then the ending is violet and vanilla, which it does actually have vanilla, but vanilla is not strong. The violet overpowers the vanilla. It's a good fragrance. It's a good fragrance. I just expected more. That's the best way to put it. I just expected more. I don't like to give ratings anymore, but this one is up there. This one is up there. I think I'm just being too demanding of the fragrance. Maybe I should cut it some slack. Who knows? What do you think about this fragrance? Have you used it? I think a lot of people would have used this because it's created quite the buzz on social media recently. So I believe a couple of people would have used this. Tell me your thoughts if you agree with what I said, if you don't agree with what I said, if you would buy this based on my review, or if you're still skeptical. And I would love to hear from you. Remember, I am Ayomide of AYOS Fragrance. Here we talk all things fragrance and perfumery. Here we release a new video every Saturday. So click that subscribe button and click that like button if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.